Hey everybody, so it's been a while since I've talked to a camera, and I asked my Tumblr and my Snapchat and my Instagram to ask me questions, and I'm going to answer my top 5. Um, Before I start this, you might have noticed that I have fucked up once again. I keep having these periods of intense inspiration where I just want to make shit and do these huge projects. And then I fall into these depressive lulls and fuck it up. It happened earlier this year when I wanted to do a weekly um, video journal. I got 13 or 14 weeks in, and then life got fucking insane, and I couldn't catch up to want to film stuff because I had so much bullshit to get through in my regular life and it was stuff that I didn't particularly want to remember or recall upon or reflect upon. I've kind of went through this transformation over the course of the last few months. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm back to looking like myself. And obviously, I had a relationship and a long-term relationship. So things just got messy for a minute, and I just needed to sit back and reflect. So that one didn't happen. And then, I had this, I want to do mini vlogs. I'll spend an hour a day on a video. And I got, this is embarrassing, I got 7 or 8 days in. Maybe not even that. I don't remember the exact number. But then I had a really bad day. And I didn't film anything that day. And then once you miss a day in a 365, you're kind of fucked, So that failed as well. And it's embarrassing because last year I did so well. I had a 365 last year where I took photos every day for the whole year, and I got through it. And I was really proud of myself, and I thought I'd turned a page, that my depression wasn't going to stop me anymore, that my anxiety wasn't going to prevent me from doing the things that I want to do and accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish. But in retrospect, as I'm looking back on it now, I think it was mostly because my life had just become so boring and monotonous that it was easier. My life is so all over the place now. I don't know what I'm doing from one moment to the next. I don't know where I'm going or where I'm heading. I'm just gonna meet future Cody when, I get there. So, the anxiety and the depression builds, and all of a sudden I don't know what to make. I'm still inspired to make things, that hasn't went away, but I just get in these lulls and it's hard to do projects. But I want to be more involved again. I don't have an audience anymore. My view counts are in the toilet bad, which I suppose is what happens. And it sucks that I do feel like my mental issues are what caused this to happen, because I went 2 or 3 years without making much at all. And the stuff I did make wasn't for you. I didn't consider you in mind when I made it. It was just things that I wanted to make, which on one hand is good, but on the other hand, it's the nature of the beast that you have to pander a little, and I haven't. If I just would have kept doing stuff like this where I talk to the camera, I feel like most people would have stuck around. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just arrogance to think that. I don't know. But anyway, I fuck it. I'm at a point, I want to build it back up and see what happens. So I'm going to try to be more active. I'm going to fucking hold back on I'm going to do this project and this project and this project, and instead I'm just going to try to make shit as I can, and we'll see what happens. That was a really long-winded explanation as to why I fucked up once again. So here's the 5 questions that people asked me that I thought would be interesting to answer. I haven't really given much thought to them, so I'm interested myself to see what comes out of my mouth. The first question was, have I ever been noticed in public, and how did it go? And yeah, it happens sometimes. Rarely, but it does occasionally occur. I have this problem just based on, people in this community that I live in now either love me to death or hate me. I don't know of anyone that just has a meh opinion of me. Which is fine, because I don't have an opinion of myself either. I'm always one or the other. I'm constantly either hyper confident and I feel like I'm talented and I'm more attractive than I've ever been, and it's compounded by this, like, you're a miserable fuck of a human. No wonder people don't like you. You're quiet. You're weird. But anyway, yeah, I've been noticed. The one time that sticks out to me the most is when I was in Seattle. I was working on a music video for my buddy Tyler, and on the way home, we stopped at a Barnes & Noble because it was like a fucking 10-year drive back home. Something like 1,600 miles or some shit like that. So I stopped at a Barnes & Noble because when it wasn't my turn to drive, I wanted to read. And I was really getting into Charles Bukowski, so I was in the poetry section, which, by the way, the poetry section at Barnes & Noble is 90% garbage. Like almost embarrassingly so. It's so hard to find a good collection of poems. But I found one by Bukowski called What Matters Most Is How Well You Walk Through the Fire. Fantastic collection of poems, by the way. But I kept noticing this younger girl, maybe 18, 19 years old, and she was kind of doing one of these. And every time our eyes would meet, she would dart off. Like, she would be looking like this, and the second I caught her doing it, she would go. And I knew at that time that there was no way that this person was, like, attracted to me, because I was at my worst. I was back above 200 pounds. I hadn't shaved in 2 weeks. I hadn't washed my hair the whole time I was in Seattle. Like, I was gross, like bad gross. So I knew it wasn't that. But I didn't really think too much of it. I just walked to the front of the line to buy my book. And as I was buying it, I felt this little tap on my shoulder. And when I turned around, she's like, sorry if this is weird, but I just got to ask you, are you Cody Weber? And usually, calling back to what I said before, usually when somebody asks me that, I am like nervous to be like, to confirm. So my response is always, well, that depends. Because there have been times where I'm like, yeah, that's me, expecting like a nice, cordial conversation, and it's, oh fuck, I just want to say fuck you. But I didn't say that this time. I was just like, yeah, I'm him. Because I was in Seattle. Like, how could this young, cute girl have an issue with me? And like, she got really overwhelmed by it. Like, wanted me to sign the book that she had in her hand. It was a book that wasn't one of my books. It was just a book. It was all she had available. So she, I signed it, and she ripped it out and like put it in her purse. And it was really nice, because sometimes I forget that there are some people that are affected by things I've made. Because most of the time I feel like no one's ever seen anything I made. Like, it doesn't even hit my head. And anyway, she told me that she was a big fan of Rand, that Nostalgia was the first album she ever bought, and that she still listens to it a lot, and there was one song in particular that really helped her through a difficult time, and it was really like a good experience for me, because I'm so like irrelevant to most people that I don't feel like my work is really all that important most of the time. God, I am a fucking buzzkill, man. I'm a major depressing fuck. Like, I'm miserable to talk to. Anyway, so we had a nice conversation. She bought me a coffee, and I left feeling really happy, and it's happened several times throughout the years where I've met someone that was moved or touched or affected by something that I've made, sometimes all three. And, I'm sure those aren't the experiences that you want to hear. You want to hear about the bad ones, because I have definitely met some, I don't know, back in the day when I was an edgy teenager making atheism videos, I had met a couple people that literally wanted to fight me because of some anti-religion video that I made. It has definitely happened. But those memories don't really stick out to me as much as the good ones. I couldn't recall upon them with any sort of accuracy, but it has happened. The second question was, if I could change anything about myself physically, what would I change? Normally that's not the kind of question that I would answer, because it doesn't matter. Most things that you want to change about yourself physically, you're either stuck with, or, you know, it would be insanely expensive to fix. But I'm kind of in one of those modes today where I don't mind so much. Uh, if I could change anything at all, it would definitely be my teeth. I hate them. I've always hated them. I've noticed when I'm out and about, like if I go out with friends or my brother or something, and, you know, we're talking, I'm really tight-lipped, literally, and quiet. And when someone says something that is genuinely funny, or I'm genuinely interested, in the back of my head, I realize that I'm smiling like this. Like, it's so fraudulent and fake, and I know I come off as disinterested because I'm not giving you, like, a real smile. So I come off as, frankly, kind of a dick a lot of the time, and it's specific. It's not because I'm a dick. Like, I can be genuinely interested in what you're saying, but I hate my mouth so fucking much that I force myself to not smile with my teeth. And I've been doing this since I was a teenager. That was honestly one of my original intentions when I started making YouTube videos, was to get over my self-consciousness with my teeth. Something that's always bothered me. You know, I love my family. I love my parents. I know that they did the best with what they had, and I have no complaints about the way that I was raised. But something that has always bothered me on a fundamental level is that my siblings all had regular dental visits, and I did not. The first time I ever went to a dentist, I was 20 years old, and I went on my own accord because I had a toothache. The first one of my life. Now, on one hand, it makes sense because my siblings have had issues with tooth pain throughout their lives. It's been an issue for them, and I haven't. But it just seems odd to me that I never once went. Like, my parents never forced me to go to the dentist. Where I had dental coverage. Why didn't you force me to go? And it bothers me because I hate my teeth so fucking much. I would have loved to fix them when I was young and still had insurance. Now, just yesterday in fact, I went to the dentist just to see what it would cost to get porcelain veneers put in my face, and what were my options if I didn't go that route, because I'm sick of being so self-conscious all the fucking time, and I want to fix the things that I don't like about myself, so maybe, perhaps, at the end of the road, I can be less of a miserable fuck, and I can smile genuinely and not hate myself if someone catches me smiling with my teeth. You know, I was a little, I knew it was going to be expensive, but I was thinking it would be in the $8,000 to $10,000 range. Then I found out to get everything done that I either need or want, or both, it would be well over $20,000, and I would be paying for it monthly for the next 15 to 20 years of my life. So I'm kind of in this mode now where I have to decide how much is my confidence worth. Is it worth $20,000 and an obligation to pay? And not only that, but is that even going to fix anything? Because, you know, there's a chance that they put new teeth in my face and then it changes the shape of my jaw. And maybe I don't like that. And maybe it's something that then I can't even hide, because my jaw is just, you know, it happens sometimes. It changes the shape of your face, and my teeth are little anyway. So it would be, in his words, it would be a job, because, you know, he would have to do it in a way. Like, you couldn't just do a standard procedure, because A, my teeth are small, but my roots are super fucking long, and they curl back into my gums. It would be a process, he said. And I'm not sure if my confidence is worth that. I live day to day. I don't have a lot of extra money. It would strap me. I don't know what the future's gonna look like. I don't know if I can afford it, frankly. But I would like to feel more confident. I would like to be able to smile genuinely. I would love to know what that felt like. Yeah, sometimes when I go over somewhere and I'm around people that all have good teeth, like, I get really sad, like, and jealous. Like, I'm not a jealous person at all, but I definitely get jealous when, like, even my mother, like, when she smiles, she just has this perfect smile that she's always had naturally. I didn't get that gene. I got her long-ass roots, but I didn't get the perfect smile that she has. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I wish I knew what that was like. Like, she'll listen to you and talk, and she'll be showing her teeth the whole time, and she just seems really engaged and really, and she is. In the same way that when people talk to me, I'm engaged as well, but no one would know it because I'm sitting there with like a disinterested look on my face because I don't want someone to look at my mouth. Even right now, I'm hoping you're looking right here and not right here. Talking about it is difficult. Uh, so that's my current dilemma. Do I go through with it or do I not go through with it? I'm not. It's purely cosmetic. I'm not suffering from any tooth pain. I don't have a shitload of cavities in my face, which is a minor miracle in and of itself. Um, so is my confidence worth it? I don't know, because I don't even know if I'll be more confident afterward. Like, I'm sure I'll find something else that I dislike about myself the moment that that's fixed. But at least I could smile and maybe people would think of me more fondly than some do now if I seemed interested. If I seemed as interested as I generally am. Third question was, how do you think you have changed in the last few years? The years that they specified were between 2011 and today. And in some ways, I think that I have definitely improved upon myself, and in other ways, I have slipped a little bit. Last year, I learned how to be responsible. And the year before that too. I had a regular job. I was working 14, 15, sometimes 16-hour days. And I was doing really well, and it all kind of collapsed in on itself this year. And I'm back to this feast or famine type shit, where I'll do really good for a minute, and then I'll get real destitute. And which is what happens in my line of work anyway, and I'm not looking forward to the winter at all, because being a photographer in the winter is fucking miserable. I'm probably going to have to do some bullshit job for those months until, spring comes back around and I can make money doing my photography stuff. I feel like some years and I keep calling back to this, but it's because it's been such a central issue in my head lately. But I feel like some years are better than others when it comes to the shit that I do to myself in my head. I had just had a conversation the other day with a few people where they said they didn't understand why somebody would choose to be depressed. Like, it's all in your own head, so just choose to be happy. Like, just flip the switch and be happy. Everything's as good as you make it. And I got personally offended by that. Like, I'm like, that sounds like the statement of somebody that has never fucking suffered from this. Like, who chooses to be depressed? Who the fuck chooses that? I sure as shit don't. If I could just flip a switch and be like, everything's great, then I would. But you can't change the voice in your head, And there are some days where everything's fine and me and myself are completely in tune. I feel confident, or I feel talented, or I feel, like I have value. And then there are other days where I just wake up and I can tell it's going to be a bad fucking day. Because I feel valueless. I feel completely, like, I think about all the people that fucking hate me, and I think that they have a point. I think about people that used to be in my life that aren't in my life anymore. I think about how easy it is to leave, and how hard it is to get people to stick the fuck around. And because it's one of those things that's like, if it happens over and over and over again, at some point you have to change the focus and be like, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you. If people enter your life and leave all with the same complaints, maybe they're right and you're wrong, and maybe you're just unlovable, So I've slipped a bit in the last few months because life has been forcing me to confront those things, and the reality of the situation that I've come to is that you either ignore it or you focus on it. There's no accepting, like, I can't accept that I'm just a miserable fuck. I can't accept that I'm not someone that people want to be around in longevity. And there are some days where I'm like, well, it doesn't matter, because just be a tourist. Be a tourist in people's lives. You can be really important for a short period of time and then move on to something else. But the problem with that is it feels so fucking hollow. I don't want to be a tourist. I don't want to be a passerby. I want to be important. I want, like, if I care about you, it doesn't go away. I care about you forever. And that's true for even people that I can't fucking stand now. People that either changed into somebody that I don't recognize anymore, or I just don't like anymore because of something they did to me. I still care about them. Like, if I hear that they're in a bad place, I'm genuinely upset. I don't like it. I don't want I don't want anyone that I've ever cared about to live a moment in sadness. Even if I hate them now, even if they fucked me over, I never want that for anybody. Because I know how it feels, and it sucks. Like, why would you want that for anyone? You'd have to be a fucking sociopath to be any other way than that. And I can't hold grudges anyway. I never have been able to, because at the end of the day, I'm like, well, they did this, but, you've done A, B, C, and D, so who the fuck are you to really judge them? So it sucks that, I feel like maybe I am a minority in that, and that with a lot of people, once they stop caring, they really stop caring. Like, it really is something that they can just flip off. I can't do that. If I love you, I love you forever. If I care about you, I care about you forever. And it doesn't go away. You just learn to make amends and carry on. But just once, I would like something with like a little bit of permanence. I would like someone to love me in perpetuity that isn't obligated to do so. Like, I get love. Like, people show me love all the time, but it's generally people that, and this isn't to dismiss it at all, but it's from like family members and stuff like that. I don't have very many people that I would consider a close friend. Just the other day I was having a discussion about a hypothetical marriage if I were to ever get married, which I fucking doubt. The conversation started because the person that we were talking about was thinking about having like 9 or 10 bridesmaids, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, if I had to have groomsmen, who the fuck would I have? And honest to God, I couldn't even fill up 3 or 4. Like, I could think of 2 for sure, and they're my brothers. You know what I mean? Like, I could think of a third, possibly, maybe a fourth, but I get fucked with my head, because, like, do you really have that little correspondence with people that you couldn't think of fucking 4 or 5 people that would for sure be important enough to be in your hypothetical wedding? And the truth is that no, I don't have that. I have a whole lot of people that are like friendly acquaintances, or like we'll check in on one another every once in a while, but no one that like I would confide in when my head gets dark, Like, I only talk to these people when my headspace isn't dark. Like, they only know one side of me, which is fine because it's the only side I'm comfortable with showing, but I couldn't think of 5 people. So, like, I don't like that about my existence. 4th question was an easy one to answer. It's just, how did I lose weight? And it's cool because the first time I lost weight, I went from like 240. At my lightest, I was like 120. I was downright anorexic. I wasn't eating at all, and I was doing a lot of pills and drinking a lot. This time, I lost weight just by portion control, and I leading a more active lifestyle. I did it without pills. I did it without booze. I went from 207, and right now I'm 157, which might be a few pounds too skinny. But it's not like, disgusting skinny like it was before. So really, it was just about portion control. Instead of eating 4 or 5 times a day like I was doing, I designated a time to eat, dinner time, and I exercised. I walked a lot. And now I'm at this point, I'm skinny again. I feel more like myself. I prefer to be skinny. But it's all about portion control, man. Don't let anyone tell you that it's anything else. You can work out till you're blue in the fucking face, but if you're still eating like an asshole, you're not going to see results. You gotta cut your caloric intake. Um, my rule of thumb was I wanted to cut it by half. And, you know, in the beginning stages when I needed to see the results the most, I went way more than half. You know, I was only eating like 6 to 7, 800 calories a day, maybe. But you got to be focused on it, and eventually you'll get down to where you want. I'm still not where I want, like as far as physically speaking goes. My plan was to get skinny and then start hitting the gym, and that's what I'm going to do now. That's my next plan. I have a person that is going to help me, which is super cool, and I'm excited to see what I look like when I'm in shape. So part 1's done, I'm on to part 2 now, but it's all about the caloric intake. Question number 5 is, am I ever going to make rants again? This is probably as close as it's going to get. I think maybe once or twice a month, maybe I'll do a round of questions. I'm not comfortable in front of a camera anymore like I used to be. And putting on that old Cody character that I did put on back in the day, I've lost. I don't know how to do it anymore. I've tried a couple times and I just don't know how. It was always a really funny thing meeting people that knew me from YouTube, because they expected me to be this loud, brash person, and in reality I'm pretty fucking reserved and shy. Basically the opposite of how I portrayed myself in years past. And I did that because it made me feel empowered. It made me feel like maybe I could be this all the time. But I can't. And worse than that, I can't even be that in a fake way anymore. So rants probably aren't going to happen anymore. I'm more into the artistic side of things. I just want to make cool shit. Even this feels kind of self-serving in a way. But for some reason, some people like to hear me talk. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know. But some of you do, so, you know, that's why I'm doing this. But no, I think that part of me is dead. I can't foresee a future where I do that with any kind of regularity or sincerity, because truthfully, I just don't care enough. I don't care enough about things. I wish that I did, but I don't. Like, I care about things that directly affect me, you know, or affect the people that I care about, but I don't pay attention to politics. I don't pay attention to what's on the news. I kind of intentionally keep myself dumbed down to what's happening in the world, which I know that's exactly what the enemy wants. But here's the truth of it: is I've lived in conservative communities and I've lived in hyper liberal communities, and the truth is you're both fucking wrong. All right, you're both fucking wrong. Every stereotype about conservatives are true. Every stereotype about liberals are fucking true. You're both fucking annoying, and I don't fit in with either of you. So I'm not going to speak from one perspective or the other, because you're both wrong, in my opinion. So, no. Short answer, no. Long answer is what I just did. And there's my 5 questions that I decided to answer. If you got this far, let me know in the comments below what you thought. Is this should I do this kind of thing every once in a while? You know, maybe I will, or maybe I'll fall into an even deeper lull, and you won't hear from me again for another year or 2. I can't really say anymore. You know, I can't take antidepressants because I've had problems with pills. I just got to deal with it naturally, because I don't want to slip off. I don't want to slip off the wagon, and I can't take pills without abusing them. I just can't. And if I take pills that don't have effects that get you high, just the process of taking the pill every day pushes me in the direction of pills that do get you fucked up. And I will. I know myself. I've been on antidepressants before that really helped. Others that just made me numb, even more numb. The truth is it doesn't really help. For every one thing that it improves, there are 2 or 3 things that it hinders. Usually my work and my output. And I would rather be depressed and putting shit out than numb and not doing anything. So, anyway, every question I feel like looped back to the problems that are in my head with anxiety and depression, but it's kind of front and center right now. I've been around a lot of people lately that don't suffer from these things, and it is causing me to evaluate myself. And I'm jealous. I'm really jealous. for a whole lot of reasons. But anyway, see you guys later.